Today, I'm going to tell you about Piaget and Vygotsky's theory. Okay, what I took from Vygotsky's theory is that he believed that children learn through social interactions, meaning they learn by playing with other people and surrounding themselves with other people. Meanwhile, Jean Piaget felt that students were individual learning, they were like independent. With Peggy, I think he felt like we were born already learning, but we didn't realize that's what we were doing. Because in the sensory motor stage, it talks about how we are using our senses to figure out what is going on around us. We are learning because if we bang something, we'll know, okay, well, this what makes this sound. Or if we chew on something, we'll know, well, this tastes this way. But we don't actually know that we are learning. In the pre-operational stage, this is where we start thinking and we are able to understand some things better. We are able to speak and communicate our needs and also to answer questions and things, even though we are not to the stage where we can understand that there are multiple meanings and there could be multiple consequences to something. Like, we wouldn't understand that two can mean two. The number two and two are different, but they sound the same. So that's something that I think you're learning in the pre-operational phase. In the last phase, which is the concrete phase, you are learning about how things do have different meanings, and you are more able to think abstractly. So as you can see, Peggy's stage was more about the abstract learning. It wasn't about, well, if you do it this way, dot dot dot. It was more about the child going on a mission to figure out how the world around him or her works and trying things to figure it out. Vygotsky, however, believed in social interactions, meaning like the zoning stage, which is like the proximal stage, development stage. And this is where Vygotsky's like, well, certain things you are not going to know how to do. So somebody has to show you how to do those things. Okay, so meanwhile, like, we wouldn't know how to tie our shoes. We're not born knowing how to tie our shoes. We're not born knowing how to walk. Someone has to teach us how. That's what that phase talks about. That you have to use repetition to help a child learn how to do something, because eventually if you keep repeating it and keep doing it over and over and over, that child is going to get it. The second phase is the imagination phase, I believe. No, the second phase, is the language phase. This is where there's three types of speech. We have the speech that we say in our heads but not out loud. Then we have silent thinking, which is where we think in our heads but we don't say anything out loud. Then in the social speaking, it's like communicating with someone else, like I'm talking to you, you talking to me, like that. And the last phase is like talking out loud to yourself, basically. Just like, hey, Jamika, how are you? Well, I'm fine, thank you. That's the middle phase. And the last phase is, like I said, as if I'm sitting right here and I'm thinking, but I'm not saying anything. Then the third step or phase in Vygotsky's theory is imagination. In this stage, he talks about like letting children use their imagination to play and explore and figure things out. Like when they acting like cowboys and Indians and things like that, they are actually gaining language skills. So they are learning, and it's also like developing creative thinking skills. So I personally think that Vygotsky's theory fits more in today's society because that's just like in the daycare I work at. We allow the kids to use their imagination. We encourage it. We encourage all students to play with each other. Then they are constantly playing in centers, which allows them to gain fine motor skills by like drawing, writing. Um, they also get to play in dramatic play. This is where they use their imagination. They can cook, they can clean, they can do all these different things. And then for like the speech part of it, um, there are some students who like to read to each other, even though none of them can read. They like to pretend to read. They look at the pictures and they guess by the pictures what the book is saying. So I think his theory is more of what is being used today versus Piaget's theory. Now, not to say that his is wrong, because some things, some parts of his theory we still do use. Like, most people already know babies are going to chew on things. So you have to monitor and make sure that you are not letting them chew on the wrong things. So in some ways, they both were right. But I would say today we follow Vygotsky's theory more. Thank you.